What would you risk for a moment of freedom? How far would you go to escape the gilded cage of a perfect life? In a city of glittering towers and relentless expectations, where appearances are everything, and whispers of scandal can destroy lives, Layla's story became a haunting question. What is the cost of longing for something more? It was a scandal that shattered Riyadh's upper crust, a young Saudi wife, a forbidden affair, and a crime so heinous that it left the entire city in disbelief. What secrets lay hidden behind the gilded doors of a lavish villa, in the heart of Riyadh, where glimmering skyscrapers touch the heavens and the streets hum with the purr of Rolls-Royces and Bentleys? Layla's life appeared to be a flawless tapestry of tradition and luxury. She embodied the grace of her upbringing, a woman impeccably attired in flowing abayas, her dark curls often hidden beneath a silk hijab. Yet her almond-shaped eyes, full of longing and melancholy, hinted at the secret burdens she carried. Layla had married Omar at 21, when he was already a rising star in Riyadh's business elite. His name was synonymous with wealth, power, and influence, qualities that had delighted Layla's family and initially captivated her. Omar's sharp jawline, neatly groomed beard, and effortless confidence made him a figure of admiration. But time revealed another side: his relentless ambition. Their sprawling villa, perched on the edge of an exclusive district, was a marvel of design. Hand-carved teak doors, imported Italian chandeliers, and mosaic tiles depicting Islamic art. The house itself seemed to breathe opulence, but to Layla it felt hollow. She had grown to resent its grandeur, which only deepened her isolation. Layla's days passed in a haze of domestic routine, ensured that her involvement was largely ceremonial. She hosted charity galas and attended fashion shows, always maintaining the facade of a perfect wife. But within, she longed for connection. Her attempts to rekindle intimacy with Omar often met resistance. He would listen distractedly as she recounted her thoughts, his gaze often fixed on his phone. "We'll talk later," he'd say, kissing her forehead absently, before retreating to his study. The study door had become a symbol of his detachment, a barrier she could never cross. One evening, after yet another solitary dinner, Layla ventured into the villa's expansive garden. The night was warm, the air fragrant with jasmine. She sat beneath the date palms, staring at the star-strewn sky. Her mind wandered to the emptiness that had crept into her heart. It was then she decided to reclaim a piece of herself, though she didn't yet know how. Layla's escape came unexpectedly during a charity event in the city's outskirts. The event was held at a farm that hosted equine therapy sessions for children. The horses caught her attention instantly, their sheer power and grace mesmerizing her. Among them was Shamal, a black Arabian stallion whose coat gleamed like polished onyx. His fiery eyes locked with hers, and something stirred deep within her, a mix of awe, fear, and connection. The stable's caretaker, Fadil, noticed her interest and approached. "Shamal is special," Fadil said with a smile. "He chooses who he trusts." Layla laughed, brushing off the comment, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the horse had seen her in a way no one else had. She returned to the stables the following week, then again and again, her visits becoming the highlight of her increasingly solitary life. Fadil taught her how to groom Shamal, how to calm him with soft whispers. In those moments, Layla felt free, unburdened by the expectations that defined her existence. She began riding Shamal in the mornings, savoring the cool desert breeze on her face. The rhythm of his gallop became a balm for her restless soul. Layla's visits to the stables soon became an obsession. She began lying to Omar, claiming she was visiting friends or attending charity meetings. The lies came easily, almost naturally, as though they were a necessary price for her newfound joy. She quickly discovered that the more lies she told, the more the people inside the stables turned on her with derision. Fadil noticed the change in her demeanor. "You're different here," he remarked one afternoon as she brushed Shamal's mane. Layla nodded, her gaze distant. "I feel alive here," she admitted, "for the first time in years." But with joy came guilt. Late at night, as she lay beside Omar, She would stare at the ceiling, wondering if her secret would destroy everything. Yet the thought of giving up Shamal was unbearable. Omar was no fool. He had noticed the shift in Layla's behavior, her sudden absences, the glow on her face when she returned. At first, he dismissed it as harmless, thinking she had simply found a new hobby. But when whispers reached him about her frequent visits to a stable, he grew uneasy. He hired a private investigator, a discreet but thorough man named Hassan. Weeks later, Hassan delivered his report, photographs of Layla with Shamal, detailed accounts of her routines, and evidence that she had lied about her whereabouts. Omar's first reaction was disbelief. "A horse?" he muttered, staring at the photos. But the more he thought about it, the more his disbelief turned to anger. Layla was riding Shamal through the desert when she spotted Omar's car approaching. Of course, her heart sank. She tried to urge Shamal into the dunes, but it was too late. Omar stepped out of the car, his face dark with fury. "What is this, Layla?" he demanded, gesturing toward the horse. This obsession?" Layla found the reins in her saddle and said. Layla dismounted, her hands trembling. "It's not what you think," she stammered. "What am I supposed to think?" Omar's voice rose. "That my wife has been sneaking off to spend her days with a horse?" Layla's silence only enraged him further. Omar grabbed her arm, shaking her. "Do you know what people will say? Do you understand what you've done to our family's name?" Shamal, sensing Layla's distress, reared up, his hooves striking the air. Omar released Layla, stumbling back. The horse bolted, disappearing into the dunes. The confrontation escalated. Omar's anger turned to physicality, and in a moment of blind rage, he struck Layla with a rock. The blow was fatal. Layla crumpled to the ground, the golden sand beneath her turning red. Hassan, who had been following discreetly, witnessed the act. He called the authorities, his hands shaking as he recounted the event. Omar, staring at Layla's lifeless body, was paralyzed by the enormity of what he had done. "What have I become?" he whispered, as the sirens wailed in the distance. The trial was a media frenzy. Omar's defense team argued that he had acted in a moment of passion, driven by betrayal and shame. But the evidence was damning. Eyewitness accounts, the murder weapon, and Hassan's testimony painted a chilling picture of a man undone by jealousy and rage. Omar was sentenced to life in prison. Layla's death became a cautionary tale. Her affair, if it could even be called that, was dissected mercilessly by the public. She was remembered as both a tragic figure and a symbol of defiance. Shamal was sold, his whereabouts unknown. The horse that had given Layla a taste of freedom vanished into obscurity, a haunting reminder of her brief escape from the constraints of her life. Years later, whispers of Layla's story still lingered in Riyadh's elite circles. Her tale was one of forbidden desires, societal expectations, and the devastating consequences of her life lived in secrecy. The desert, vast and eternal, remained a silent witness to her tragedy, and in its endless expanse, her memory endured, a stark reminder of the fragility of freedom and the heavy cost of love. If you enjoyed this dive into the mystery, don't forget to subscribe to True Crime OCS for more chilling stories from history's darkest corners. Drop your thoughts, theories, and questions in the comments below. Let's untangle the truth together. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.